Nathan Drake is just a really great everyman guy. He kind of has a goal that he's going for and won't give up until he gets there. And sometimes, as every movie hero may have to do, he goes to extreme measures to attain his goal.
What's unique about Uncharted is, I think, its pulp adventure roots. As a sound guy, we all I feel like always go back to like Indiana Jones. And getting to work on something that's akin to that is super special just as a sound guy. It's like guns and punches and car chases and just, it's a lot of fun design.
Sometimes the best sounds in our games, at least from our point of view, are the ones that you don't hear or you don't notice, because part of immersion is detail and not drawing the player out of it. So having lots of ambience, lots of the foliage, background sounds, having everything dialed down and just at the right point where you feel like there's this rich world that's around you that you can't quite put your finger on where any one sound is coming from, but you feel like you're there.
For the final adventure of Nathan Drake, the studio pretty much decided to make it his largest adventure. And having something of that grand scale and grand scape really was a huge challenge for us as a team to figure out how we wanted to propel audio forward into this universe as a saying goodbye to Nathan, but also trying to stay true to what has come before, as well as giving players something to look forward to and something more immersive than we'd had in the past. So sonically, this is probably the most varied project that we've ever had. There are many, many different locations across Europe, across South America, and even down by Madagascar in Africa. And trying to make this world come alive in such an interesting way with all these varied locations is really challenging. We did a lot of recording and outdoors. We didn't go to Africa, unfortunately. It would have been great, but we really tried to make sure that as the player progressed through this story, they really felt that they were being propelled into different locations across the world.
Okay.
Sully. I think that's Sam's tower.
It's definitely Sam's tower. Come on, this way.
The sound of Uncharted, especially in Uncharted 4, we really try to just push for a level of detail that is sort of often unattainable in most games. And it also really helps to make everything just feel right, which is, I think, something that sound, especially in games, really helps to kind of like sell, is that if we can make it feel right to the player and that they just like forget that they're playing a game, that's like the biggest win for us, I think.
Come on, down here, Nate.
Sorry, pal.
What?
See them! Nate, watch out!
Shit! Everyone out of the way! Oh, crap!
At Naughty Dog, we really think about what are you hearing when you're in an environment. So if you go out into the forest, what are you hearing when you turn your head, when you walk 5 steps? When you turn your head to the left, you walk 5 more steps. What are you actually hearing? What's changing? And the problem of it, a good problem or puzzle to solve, is that it's incredibly complex.
Where the hell are you?
If the player decides just to stand still and enjoy kind of the view and the ambience of the world, they'll find that it's really varied depending on where they're at. We did a lot of work to make sure that the environments felt alive but not overbuilt. There's a lot of building up of assets in here to where the world kind of evolves and changes as you progress through the adventure. So it's not a very static world at all. Things evolve, animals change. The feeling, the emotion is built up within the ambience.
Oh, shit.
What we did was a combination of a bunch of quads but moving throughout the environment, and then positional quads, but also moving quads in that when you move your head, the quads are positional, but also ones that are going with you, and then ones that you go through and that are collapsing. And that combination is so much more intricate than games that are out right now, mostly because they don't have enough CPU to be able to do that. They don't have enough sound bank memory to be able to have all that stuff.
See, as the story goes, this place provided a safe haven for hundreds, maybe even thousands of pirates, and they shared everything. Property, resources.
Money?
And they kept it all in one common treasury building.
In Uncharted 4, we actually ended up with about 2 hours and 45 minutes of cinematics, which almost doubles what we had for The Last of Us. And we felt that that was very important to tell the story that was being presented in such a longer format that this game offered for the player. I think we ended up with somewhere around 55,000 dialogue lines in this game, which is a bit larger than our previous titles. And so we look at the story as kind of the spine that makes sure that we follow from beginning to end for the entire process.
See, you two made it out okay.
Way better than okay. We found Libertalia.
When we looked at what we needed for Uncharted 4 in particular, there was a lot of things that we've never had before, which are exciting and scary and challenging, kind of all rolled into one. The vehicles in particular in this game, like the Jeep, as well as some others, were exciting because we're going to be able to do a ton of recording, and there was a big technical challenge.
A large recording trip we did was in both California and Nevada to go record the Jeeps for the game for the player vehicles with Rob Noakes. And we did both kind of in the field work and on a Dynapack to work with the Rev granular synthesis engine to help us create the engine loops that we did.
Not only was that great for capturing audio, but it was also great because we had cameras all over the place, and it was great reference for the guys designing the Jeep handling. They could actually see, oh, what do the wheels do when you're slipping on rocks? What do the wheels do when you're slipping on mud? Like, having that reference was great to kind of be able to share.
And from there, we actually went to Foley recording stage to get all of the tire recordings for all the surfaces.
We're getting nowhere fast.
So on the Jeep, each tire is individually synthed on what it's driving on, how it's driving, where it's skidding, is it losing any pressure, those types of things. And it really kind of brings the Jeep to life.
All right, hang on, guys.
You need traction here. Nathan, the rocks.
The end result, I'm really pleased with. The Jeep is, I think, one of the coolest things that I worked on as the audio programmer. I mean, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Like, it's really detailed, and I'm a Jeep enthusiast myself. I actually own a Jeep, so I was sort of really particular about making sure that we did that right.
You good? Great. Floor it.
How do we get to sand?
We just keep heading downhill.
Brilliant.
Nick, more of them.
Shit. Hang on.
Oh, Christ.
Get out of the way!
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Careful. Jeez. Damn, it's that goddamn truck again. Please don't run anyone over.
Sorry!
One of the things that we did that we've never done before is a dynamic foliage system. In previous games, like if the player walked on dirt, we'd play dirt. If the player walked on grass, we'd play grass. And that was the beginning and the end of it. In this game, we actually tie into the artwork for the background foliage. So if you're walking through a bush, we play the sound of a bush. And that sound is completely dynamic and variable depending on how fast you walk through the bush, what kind of bush it is, and depending on how fast you move through it, you'll get a slightly different sound. And it just adds a little thin layer of detail that's almost too easy to miss, but it's just amazing how much it connects the player with the space. It's just another level of detail that we've never had before, and it's a system that works really well. I'm really proud of it.
I think one of the big sounds that's going to show up that's iconic is the grappling hook. And speaking about Indiana Jones, what's cool is I actually went and bought a David Morgan bullwhip, which is the same bullwhip maker that did the Indiana Jones whip that Ben Burt, big sound designer, used for all the whip cracks and whooshes and everything. So I went out and bought a David Morgan whip because the grappling hook is sort of like a whip in this game. And we did a whole series of recordings with that. And because of that, I think it's an homage to Indiana Jones, and I think it becomes like one of the iconic sounds of this Uncharted game.
What the?
Uncharted is hyperrealism, right? And I think that's what makes it fun, right? You can relate to the characters because they live in the real world, and they're relatable. But then you get to do all these phenomenal adventures. You get to go globetrotting across all these different continents. You get to see all these different places. You get to go to all these fantastic locations. You know, you get to take on the bad guy and pal around with your brother and your best friend and your wife. And like, I mean, it's like wish fulfillment. You're getting to do everything that you want to do, you know, in your life in a video game experience, which is, I think it's really special to Naughty Dog games.
I think Naughty Dog has a fairly unique culture here, and everybody here is super passionate about what they do. And the fact that we're allowed to do what we do and that they encourage us to be passionate about it is what encourages us to do our best. And I feel like we've got a certain amount of flexibility here because of the sort of open nature of Naughty Dog's philosophy of game development.
Something I feel really proud of as part of being a part of Naughty Dog is the fact that we get to work with every single part of the team. We have buy-in from every single department here at Naughty Dog, whether it's programming or animation or art or design or particle effects. I guess I want to say that I'm really proud of the team here at Naughty Dog and Sony and Formosa, what we were able to accomplish for Uncharted 4. It's definitely a huge evolution of where we've come before, and I really am excited to hear what the players and fans think of the job that we've done, because it's been fantastic.